show, all new, back in the studio live today, and with a special guest. Today's guest is Casey at the bat. It's Casey Ledoux.
How you doing, Shaggy? Aloha.
Yeah, good. How are you, man?
Doing well. Got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I noticed. And for the first time ever, I noticed that you are a guest that has brought reading material. What is all this?
Absolutely. These are a few things that, like the new Hawaii Film and Video magazine for this month, had a special write-up for just about everything that was going on in the film industry. It was for the Maui Film Festival. So it was kind of like a special issue they put together.
Yeah, well, we should tell people, first off, what you do. You are a Maui film maker.
I do make some film. I help produce stuff. I was working with the studio before it was a studio even, working with Socrates. We did productions. I've got my own, company, and we're doing things.
You basically have a lot going on, and we only have the one showcase. So we're going to have to kind of like pick something, narrow it down today.
Absolutely. Rein me in.
Okay. Well, let's first start off with, you're from Alaska originally?
Yeah. I was born and raised on a homestead in Alaska. Up there in the cold and the snow and the ice and the wind. And
just to be, devil's advocate here, what's the difference between a homestead in Alaska versus a homestead in Hawaii versus about 50 degrees?
Well, a homestead in Alaska is basically, was the Homestead Act during the 50s, and that's whenever a lot of people moved up there and, got homesteads. They had to, keep it, the homestead up and, plant a crop, and then you would get your land after so many years, and you would get the title.
Okay. Well, so did you do that? Did you have like your own little piece of land?
No, the Homestead Act ended, before I got a chance to do that. That was my parents and my grandfather who moved up there. It was during World War II. It was right after that. They, were setting up the bases up there and everything.
See, that's crazy because I've heard that parts of the Homestead Act are still active if you go far enough north in Alaska. So you guys were just like, you know what? No, we're not going that high.
Right. Yeah, it was basically what was left around, the Anchorage area that, they had for homesteading. That was where my grandfather told my father to go out and grab a piece of land.
So you started off life there.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, that's kind of where your obsession with video started too, right?
Definitely in Alaska. There's a lot to film, a lot to do. I started off as a young kid, just basically whenever video kind of started. I was right there. We happened to get lucky and have JVCs for our classroom. With the old school camcorders. That first came out.
So you used VHS tape to do movies.
When I was very little, yes, and it even had the effects board, so you could do, transition slides, things like that. We were doing effects when they first came out.
Oh, so what age was this for you?
I would have been, 7, 8.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Working with video.
Well,
Tell you what, so 7 or 8 years old for that. And let's see, you started working with an effects board. So I'm taking it that these are not exactly Michael Bay type things that you were able to do.
No, I think the board had like 3 effects. So you're pretty limited. It was just basically what you could do and cut together, how ingenuitive you could be with 3 effects. It'd be kind of like how rock stars have 3 chords.
Oh, okay. So you just had like 1, 2, wipe, fade, dip, right?
Pretty much.
What kind of stuff did you do though? Because I mean, like as a kid, when I make, well, we can't talk about the movies I made as a kid, but unwatchable, yes. But what did you do?
We did several things. One thing that we also did, which was we did on film with one of my friends, was we loved karate movies. So we actually made our own karate movies.
Wow.
And I watched them. My friend brought them, dug them out of the can after 20 years, and we watched them, and they were actually really well made for these young kids who didn't know what the hell they were doing or how they could get this karate movie made.
So
paying their friends with candy.
Did you actually know martial arts?
Yeah, we were actually, we actually did. We were going on base and me and my friend and taking karate lessons from Mr. Cheney, and he was like from Detroit, and you know, he told you basically you would get your butt kicked if you used any type of karate on the street, you know, anywhere around Detroit.
But in a movie, it's fine.
In a movie, it looks great.
So,
Don't do it in real life, kids.
do you remember the actual plot of this first kung fu movie that you made?
I believe it was I believe it was some sort of ransom or something was supposed to happen in this movie, but it was very, very interesting for young kids to pull this off.
Oh, God. How long did the movie end up being?
You know, it was like 8 minutes or something, all on Super 8 film. And, you know, transferred over to digital eventually, but yeah.
Now, can we find this anywhere, like in DVD?
Nowhere. It is absolutely nowhere.
You sound like that's the best thing that's ever happened to your life.
Well, you know, I asked my friend for it, and he said no.
No.
He refuses.
Oh, God. Man. You know, what's so funny is I've got like this whole crew of people right now that you can't see behind the glass.
Right.
They're going crazy right now over the volume levels. Can I tell you a little secret?
Sure.
I turned up their headphones. I did nothing to the audio. This is all my little experiment.
This is a prank.
Yes, I have just been messing with the intern this
July
whole time.
Fools you are.
Yes. But back to the filmmaking.
Sure.
So we started off with a kung fu movie, and then after that, you were pretty much set. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this. Now, I gotta ask, because you know some kids are geeky kids and they get picked on. I gotta imagine going to school and being like, I'm a writer director of martial arts film. That's gotta win you some women, right?
I did usually have a girlfriend through high school and stuff, so yeah.
Was the martial arts to that credit that it helped bring you these women?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
No.
good. I'm going to write off my bucket list because I totally thought that the martial arts thing was a chick magnet. You're saying no.
I would say no.
No.
The gi, everything, the belt, I don't care what color it is. It's just not fashionable. She's not going to go for it.
Well, I'm sorry, Casey. But it's cool because I saw, like, you know, on your resume stuff there that you said that you had listed down that you're an actor with martial arts parts. Have you ever done an adult martial arts movie?
I have. I've actually done a movie. It was called Breathing Fire. It was with Jonathan Key Kwan. He's one of your Goonies. You might remember him.
Yeah, he was Data. Come on now, Goonies forever, dude.
Right. So he's one of the Goonies. I have actually worked with two Goonies, and Corey Feldman was the other one. And so it was a karate movie, and it was supposedly Jonathan Key Kwan's breakout role, where he was going to do his
transition
karate.
from child to adult
This
actor.
Karate thing would take him and help propel his career, and it didn't really happen that much. So. So that one is just listed on my resume as, basically because Bolo is in it.
Bolo?
Yeah, Bolo Young, was just great to do a movie with Bolo Young. He's like one of the classic karate guys.
Yeah, but everybody else in that movie was crap.
That's correct.
What was it like doing a martial arts film? Because for me, I got to imagine that there's a lot of times that you're just walking around the set trying to outflex the other extras that are there.
There could be some of that. We did a lot of like crowd scenes and a lot of extra stuff. It was a lower budget film. Basically, what I did was like studied how they did their shots. How they propped the kid up and had him, do his kicks and stuff into the camera, so you couldn't really see he's being held up by a ladder or something. All that stuff. How they got their shots. That's really what I was there for, to absorb. And
so this is kind of like a spy mission for you. You went there as an actor, but
absolutely
you were infiltrating the directors.
I wanted to see what the old Chinese man in the corner was telling these guys how to set up shots for the karate movies. And so I was like, this guy over here really knows what he's doing. He's must have worked on something, but I couldn't find out who he was. Maybe Jonathan Key Kwan's grandfather or something. I have no idea.
Yeah. For all you know, he could have been the craft services that day.
I think he was. I think he was mopping the floor after we left.
Ouch.
I'm not sure.
Right.
But he helped them set up. And that was just fun to watch and to learn, how this stuff happens.
Now, you went there to learn basically how they did things on a martial arts film. So I'm taking it that you had aspirations, at least, of doing another martial arts film. Is this like one of those Casey Ledoux is Chuck Norris in Delta Force 14? I mean, what kind of direction were you going with this whole martial arts fascination?
It was just something that you could, I could relate to, and I could actually do martial arts. I knew what the language was, and how to do katas, and everything about martial arts. I just knew and studied, watched the programs when I was a little kid, and basically just absorbed all that stuff and just regurgitated it back on set to directors and whoever would listen and employ me.
Did it ever work?
Some of it did, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you got a couple of roles from talking up your martial arts prowess.
Just from being able to move and do stuff. So eventually it led to another role, which was an ABC after school special. Was as a swimmer in a swim team, and it was a pretty interesting gig. I started off as an extra and I got picked out of probably 80 people on this classroom scene to be a swimmer on this swim team, and it was about a drug test that kind of went bad for the star of this episode, and it was kind of neat because Adam Sandler was on there, and Adam Sandler was actually a drug dealer selling marijuana to the kids.
That.
And it was
Adam Sandler, drug dealer.
Right, and so this was an ABC after school special that was seen maybe once, maybe twice it aired, and it's been in the can. And I can't even get a copy, or the director can't get a copy. No one could see it anymore. ABC is has it locked in their vault. And it would be interesting to see it, see how that played out with, this Adam Sandler character and, this swim team thing. I wish somebody would have, had their VHS playing, but it doesn't seem like it. I've searched everywhere online, asked everybody. And,
that's a great thing about the internet, though. I mean, you can get on YouTube, maybe find it.
I have looked everywhere. On YouTube, we've searched. We have people looking for it. No, people have worked on the film. Or, like I say, the director, she won an award for it. She does not have access to a copy of it. That's amazing.
Wow. See, that's a good film.
Right.
It is so good that it can never be shown to human eyes again.
Never. No one will see it again.
Yeah, at least we bend space and time.
Right.
Rendering reality asunder.
So it's kind of neat, though, that, I've got this little connection with Adam. And, of course, that kind of leads to our film commissioner here, which is Tracy Bennett, who had a long relationship with Adam Sandler and in his dealings with the film industry in L.A. And so it's kind of cool when I tell that story.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, though. It's like, because it seems to me, you leave Alaska, you escape Alcatraz. That's great. You go down. You're in L.A. You're getting a couple of martial arts films. You're figuring out who on the set, the set actually knows what they're doing, not what they're doing. It seems like you were building up for something, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're over here. What made you escape from L.A.?
Well, the main reason was Rodney King riots. I was living right in Hollywood, right at the time. 1992. Right when it happened, there was actually two riots. There was the riot, right when it happened. Mm-hmm. The video, was on air. Things were going crazy. It was high tension. You didn't want to be in the wrong area at the wrong time.
That's what they called the boiling point
years. It was simmering, and so it wasn't a good place to be at that time. And a lot of my jobs would take me into those places. I would do anything. I would go anywhere. I didn't really care. I would sell door to door to the Nunos and Ninas and Compton and Watts and wherever, because it was a good job. You get paid cash every day. Mm-hmm. You can make $200-$300 walking around with Coke bottle radios and little toys for the kids and selling them. When I first got there, that was like the first thing I did, and moved to LA, and I eventually got other jobs. I had money. I'd worked on the oil spill. That was the main reason I escaped from, Alaska. I had crazy money, stupid money, and I just loaded my car full of everything I could and drove through the snow to the Sunshine State, not Florida, but California, to get some sun and to, pursue acting and all that kind of stuff. So it really was an escape from Alcatraz.
So you're telling me, and let me get my history correct, that the Exxon Valdez that crashed up in Alaska because, let me get this straight, the captain, drunk off his alcohol, decided to go, hey boys, let's chance it, ran it up on some rocks.
Pretty
Big,
close.
yeah, big ecological disaster. You got paid to film that, and that was your money to get out of Alaska?
No, actually, I got paid to clean it up.
You got
That
paid
was-
to clean it up.
Right.
Just you.
Just me. Well, it seemed like it. It was between me and my friend. We were working out of Seward, and Valdez was the main area that got affected, and then all the oil would come down and wash back into these other inlets. Seward
Yeah.
being one of them. And so we worked there. We actually bought knee pads, and we're on the beach cleaning rocks on our knees, going around the Seward Beach, which is many miles long, and you do that every day. You'd start and you just clean these beaches. And we were the only ones working, actually, on our hands and knees, cleaning the beaches, and everybody else was basically, collecting a check.
Oh, God. So there was like 40 guys standing around eating sandwiches, and you two.
80 guys standing around.
Oh, okay.
They employed everybody who would get on the bus and go work. So, yeah, and it was a high-paying job. This is the Exxon oil spill. So you were getting, probably $20-some an hour to clean rocks.
Yeah, but this is back in 1990
Oh, yeah.
something.
We're talking. This is high wages for everybody. They're just going, whoa. If you had a boat, if you had a rowboat, you're making $200-300 a day for having a leaky rowboat that could be used. So every boat in Alaska and Washington and everywhere around converged there to be employed by Vico, and so there was a whole thing about Vico was the chant, because that's where all the money was coming through from Exxon, for everybody. It was just crazy money. Like I say, stupid money was being thrown around. And you're working long days, and, it wasn't easy, but, you could make bank.
So you
real
made
fast.
you made bank
Yeah.
off of cleaning rocks.
Cleaning rocks. I got promoted, immediately. I was crew leader within the week of 80 people.
So you were cleaning rocks, and you told 2 other guys how to clean the rocks too.
Right. And so basically the guy who was in charge of all of us said, you don't need to be doing this. Once you go, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I can do construction. I can do whatever. So he had me building showers on like all these deadly sketch boats and all these boats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each one would need a shower built on the deck for all these, people who were working on it, cleaning the oil and doing all this stuff. So all this, the crew members on them. So I would build showers on all these boats, and then worked myself out of that job. Basically, I was doing union construction for the non-union side. I was Vico, and there's Norcon, which is union. They're supposed to do all that kind of stuff. So I was running around doing all kinds of weird jobs. They liked me. Obviously, I was working, diligently to do this stuff. And they gave me a truck and tools and whatever you would need. If they had another helicopter, they probably would have gave it to me. But, I was out there just, eventually I got put onto a boat with the guy he was Vico 3. He ran Seward. Mm-hmm. And, I got to be his friend, and that was a golden ticket for the rest of the season to just, move on to another boat. The reason I got to move on to another boat is the boat we were on was rammed by the fishermen who said, Vico isn't doing a good job in cleaning up all the oil. So we were actually, targeted and rammed by a fishing boat. And we're on a 1950s Coast Guard cutter that could not get certified, by the Coast Guard. But for the oil spill, every boat, even the leaky rowboat, was employed. So they just got a special exemption. And so that was Vico 3 was this old 1950s Coast Guard cutter, leaky wooden thing.
And it got rammed.
Yes.
Now, did it sink with
No.
you guys?
Not while I was on it. I got my my ticket from Vico 3 and got off there and got another job.
Okay.
And he was ready to get off there too. It was nepotism. He got put onto that because he was somebody's brothers, sisters, friends, cousin. He was related to somebody.
So he got his free pass, and
Yeah.
you got your free pass.
Right. Once that happened, he was like, yeah, whatever you want to do. Here you go.
Just get off my boat.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So you went from being, I guess, public enemy number 1 at that point. Is that what made you leave Alaska? Were you like, you know what?
No.
I'm trying to help here, and you idiots are ramming me with a fishing boat. I'm already on something that's about to sink. I'm gone.
No, not really. Basically, I served out the rest of the season. Had a nice little cake job where I basically ate 3 times a day. I was non-union, so I couldn't touch any of the equipment that I was put on the boat to take care of, basically. And so it was kind of a weird gig.
So you were hired to touch equipment that you could not touch
Pretty
because
much.
you weren't.
Weren't union, so I couldn't pick up the wrench. I could, maybe hand the wrench to the first mate, and the first mate of the boat could do it, but I couldn't legally do anything on there.
I gotta ask, just as an extremely lazy person, how do I get one of these jobs where I'm paid to not work?
Work your butt off very hard in the beginning, and then eventually, I guess it pays off,
Okay.
and then you get the Easy Boy recliner at the end. So that's what you that's what you shoot for.
Yeah, but you didn't take the Easy Boy recliner. You took the ticket out of Alaska.
Eventually I did. Like I say, I went to LA and was there. I was doing all the stuff. I was in modeling. I was in the elite, vanity, all these top things. I was doing all this stuff, and meeting all the right people. And like I say, riots happen. Things happen.
Yeah. So the riots is really what just made you say, "That's it. I'm over it. I'm done."
Basically, friends came over and got me and drugged me to Arizona, to Phoenix.
Really?
Yeah, they were worried.
'Cause
They were worried.
I gotta show this picture. If we can see this on the screen right here. This is your modeling picture.
That's one of the ones, yeah.
Yeah. I would have never thought that you did modeling, but that's a handsome looking guy right there.
I clean up well, they say.
Oh. So what kind of modeling did you do?
Some print, commercials, some TV stuff.
Can I be honest though? This Lifetime movie look right here.
Exactly.
I mean,
movie of the week.
You should see like Dynasty's logos flash over this face.
Well, that's why I got picked out. I always got picked out for having the good hair and always having a wardrobe. I would bring my car. That's why I say every place I would go, to every interview or every shoot, I would bring a car full of clothes, my trunk loaded with clothes, because you would never know what they would want or what they would need. All the accessories, every kind of shoe, swimsuit. That's how I got like the ABC gig. I had a little tiny Speedo, with me in the trunk. And it went from a classroom scene to, hey, they need a swimmer. I was prepared. Be prepared. I'm an Eagle Scout. That was one of the things on my resume.
Yeah, I know. You were an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
And I mean, being a Boy Scout is good and everything.
Sure.
Carrying around a complete wardrobe in your car is a little creepy, though.
We're real creepy.
I'm imagining.
But it's necessary.
I'm imagining during those days you weren't married yet, right?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
How did you get married if you were driving around with nothing but clothes in your cars? I mean, at this point, they got to think you're homeless.
Right. Well, if you got a car in LA, that is a home.
Oh.
That's a one bedroom.
Yeah,
That's a studio or whatever.
yeah, that's actually bigger than the studio you would get in San Francisco these days.
You get the keys to a Corolla, you're a homeowner. I'm serious. That's the way it was on the street in LA, so it was pretty tough, that, like I say, it was back during some tough times, like I say, I was just, luckily I had money, and I was able to, continue finding jobs. I worked at the Playboy Mansion. I went from...
Whoa. You worked at the Playboy Mansion.
Right. For like 6 months, I was the valet at the Playboy Mansion. I worked for, my friend said, hey, let's go check out this gig, this job. And I'm, all right, whatever. I'd go for anything, right? Mm-hmm. Went down. It was a Valet Parking Inc. It was me, my blonde Aryan-looking friend, and 40 Hispanics were in the room. Oh, I don't know why we got hired for I got hired for the Playboy Mansion. I really can't answer that, but that's what happened. It was, they were looking for certain type of people for certain type of jobs, and they must have had a bad time before with something, and so they looked at me and said, "This guy looks clean cut. Okay, we'll send him to the Playboy Mansion. Let's give him a try."
Oh.
And so
how many times did you end up having to valet at the mansion?
oh my God, this is like a million times. Everybody, everybody's car. You can imagine there'd be poker nights, and there'd be Gabe Kaplan from Welcome Back, Kotter, and Hunter would show up in his same car from the series, and I'd have to drive that. The old Dodge Diplomat thing.
Oh God, yeah.
You name it. They'd have Ferrari parties on the lawn. Everything. I drove everything you could imagine that was made from prior to 1992. God. Every kind of car, yeah. How to start it, and they hide things, and so yeah. So
at the Playboy Mansion, you worked as a valet. Were you ever invited in?
I pretty much didn't push that too much. I got to hang around a little bit of the kitchen. I got to see a little bit of the grotto every once in a while. I would basically just I would just basically hang around the front door because that's what the valet does.
Huh.
And so I would, I'd see Heft, he would come out, hey, how's it going? And he'd go jogging. And then at that time he was married to Kimberly Conrad.
Yeah.
She had kids. And so I would hang out and play with the kids, these two young little kids, and roll the little ball to them on the lawn. And, and it's Kimberly Conrad and Hugh Hefner, and playing with their kids. And it was weird.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, and that was the job I had.
Did you ever, at any one of these points so far, just go, I am from Alaska. I must be out of my damn mind to be at the Playboy Mansion?
Right. There's how many people in LA? There, 20-some million people, and I'm the one guy who they picked to have that thing. That's what always go through my mind. Or I'd be at Moses' party. Moses.
Yeah.
I'd be at his party. It'd be really strange, being there with the guy who's playing Moses, on TV. You're there with him, and he's talking to you, and you're like, oh, wow. And he's interested in what you do, and, like your car. And I had this, T-Bird, and he had this black Corvette, and I had this, black T-Bird, and we talk about driving across to Vegas, how fast you could get there and things like that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so, and then you'd meet all kinds of people. It was just crazy, the stuff I would do and people I would meet.
Well, everybody that I know that has ever worked in or near the Playboy Mansion has one story.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a story?
No.
Okay,
No,
because
not for air.
Not for air. Oh, it was one of those stories. Did it involve looking like this?
Yeah, it probably did. Probably look something like that. And
you didn't lie, did you? You didn't convince a Playboy model that you were something else other than the valet, did you? You didn't just say, "Well, I'm here for the shoot, and today my character's a valet."
I'm Bobby Hefner, and this is just my red vest. The V is for victory, not for valet.
V is for.
You could convince them of anything, probably.
Really? Did you ever try?
It would.
See, I like how you changed it. You're like, no, oh yeah.
It would be wrong to say yes, or it would be wrong to say no.
So you're just going to plead the fifth on that?
Well, absolutely. We're going to get a lawyer on that one.
Wow. I never in the course of the history of this show have I had anyone say, at this point, I cannot give you the answer. And here it is. I've tracked your life from Alaska, which is, dare I say, a little boring, to the Playboy Mansion, where it's like hella exciting, and you are just still trapped. So I'm going to go ahead and infer a couple of things, and you can just nod your head silently if this is right. A, chances are you have a story so good that it could get you in trouble. Okay, that's a good nod. And two, said trouble could possibly be avoided if we just wait a couple of years and the people involved are passed away. All right, yes. See, I love the way this interview is going. And at any one point in time, could one of these stories have involved a chance encounter with somebody you were not supposed to be with?
Absolutely.
All right, yes. So one day, when I'm looking through the headlines, and
Inside Edition, we'll do it probably.
Okay, well, when
copy.
The day I see Hugh Hefner is gone from this planet, Casey, I'm calling you, and you're going to be on that night show, and we're going to get this story out.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, if you are just joining us for this show, look, I've been talking to Casey Ledoux. He's an actor, filmmaker, martial artist, all-around valet parker. Great guy. And we'll come back with more of, just what's going on with you and a couple of other things because, one, you're a part of this whole thing on Maui that I'm trying to talk about, which is people wanting to do videos here.
Right.
Yes, and do them the right way. So we'll talk a little bit about that, the equipment that you're using, which is awesome.
It's good stuff.
Oh, yeah, and some other stuff, too, okay? For everybody else, stay tuned. After the break, we'll come back with more of Casey Ledoux. If you'd like to join the show, you can. 877-6363. 877-6363. That's the number that you can call up. You are listening to us live at 88.5 FM and on KAKU Cable Channel 55. We'll be back in just a couple of seconds. Everybody hum. And one.
Did you know These 6 major corporations control 90% of the media in North America. KAKU is public access TV, run by the people, for the people. KAKU is Maui County's agent of free speech and community media. Federal laws require cable companies to provide financial support for all public access programming. KAKU is your public access resource, and we're open 5 days a week. Community members can learn to use the equipment and tools needed to exercise their free speech. It's easy, too. Now you know.
At KAKU's Maui Community Television, we are committed to employing your access to media. Our goal is to certify community producers that will go out and create meaningful and local content for our viewing community. KAKU's Media Lab now offers classes in Apple Final Cut Pro 10, professional editing software. This class will cover basic editing skills and Final Cut Pro's 10 systems available at KAKU. With a maximum of 8 students to every instructor and 1 student per editing system, students will receive intimate and hands-on training.
Are back. Welcome to the show on Channel 55, of course, 88.5 FM. Joining me in the studio is Casey Ledoux. Yeah.
Aloha, listeners and viewers.
Yeah. Isn't it great that now we live in an era where the technology exists that not only can you do radio, you can do television at the same time?
Yes, and web and everything. It's all going to be seamless pretty soon. Everything will be on the web. Basically.
What is it that you like doing the most? Because I know about the van, which we'll talk about in just a sec, but what is it that you, as far as media, love doing the most now?
I like shooting videos. Just shooting basically B-roll, videos, no actors or anything, just backgrounds and I go out and I get turtles and the deer running across the roads and all kinds of different places on Maui that you can get shots of all the different stuff, and you can build a library of that, and that's really great because you can use that later for all your other films with actors as all the B-roll footage.
I was going to ask you, is there a reason that you don't like filming other actors? Is it that you feel that you are such a good actor?
This is true. Yes, this is part of it. There is that. The other part is just having the time and the incentive to do a full production. Hire all the people, do everything, and get it all going. And that's something that we can do and that we like to do. But it's not something I do personally. Personally, I like to sit there and play with video and edit it and, add, effects and transitions and just mess with video. It's just fun.
So in a way, the things that you like doing now that you're such and such age that I will not give away on the air, guys are sensitive about our age.
Sure.
We never tell that.
Our birthdays.
All right, but besides, being this age now, it seems to me that you're doing the exact same thing that you were doing with the JVC and the little 3 effect board.
Right. It's kind of gone back to it. At the way like Final Cut Pro 10 is now. It seems like it's very easy for me. Where it went for a while, I'm glad I didn't follow it. Where it got very complicated and it wasn't very user friendly, and the user interfaces weren't quite what they should be. Now it's like seamless. You can just get on there and rough cut drag stuff into the timelines, and then drag in audios and cut audios out of your clip, and just really simple. It's just the way it's finally how I would want it. Just about.
So in a perfect world, now is the time. At least you feel now is the time where you're the most effective.
I think so.
As far as equipment,
we're getting right there. Yeah, I mean it's so that we can have the whole package and be able to do every kind of shot and every kind of setup. That's tough. That requires a lot of a gear. There's ways to fake it and get around with you can do certain things in post and with effects and things where you don't actually have to get the whole shot where you did before.
Okay, so if I'm understanding you correct, you just went through 5 seconds of gibberish that will make sense to a lot of people.
To a lot of people
okay,
in the
so
industry.
let's go through, people outside of it. First off, editing is where you take the video that's been shot and you turn it into something else.
Right. You're going to completely change, and the editor is basically, he's like the second director. You'll have a director who's telling you to get these shots, and they get them and everything, but then the editor comes along, and he may cut it completely different, so it's that's important that the editor knows the story, what the story is, and how to translate that to the viewer, your end product.
Well, now let's talk about, because this is the cool part. You, at your fingertips right now, has this thing called the mesh van. Is that what it's called?
Yes, very, very cool thing, the mesh van.
What in the heck is a mesh van?
A mesh van. Mesh is it's a mobile editing suites Hawaii. So this van can basically go anywhere in the state, be put on a barge or anywhere, taken anywhere, and be used for any shoot anywhere. And so it's a mobile production office and editing suite right there. It is fully powered by batteries. I mean, it's got everything you could want. If you really want to get crazy, you can have a solar-powered trailer that powers the van quietly. The van itself has batteries that it can run everything, including the air conditioning, the lights. It's got dimmable LED lights in there, the 4K screens, like all this equipment here that you have in front of you. It would power for 12 hours.
Wow.
So, before you need to recharge it. And then you could do that every day on scene. Have that there on your location, shooting film, grabbing, whatever it is, maybe a solid state drive out of a red camera, and instantly shoving it into, your downloads, so you can see exactly what your rough cuts and your dailies are going to look like. Make sure that you got the shot before you leave or move on to a different location or scene or something. It can save you a lot of time and a lot of effort. Everybody's looking at little tiny screens going, oh, okay, I think I got it.
Yeah. And see, that's something that a lot of people that don't do film don't realize is that a lot of times, at least the way modern films work, is you've got guys that are in all these locations around the world, and they're just shooting. These things get piped to somebody in a city that is not even connected, and that person then has to make sense of it.
Right.
And if one crew makes one mistake, it sets the entire operation backwards.
Completely, right. And it could be anything from audio to a video, transcoding problem, or just anything can happen. So,
and what you have is, okay, so like this room, this has got all audio boards and all kinds of stuff. I can take inputs from, basically anywhere. You have this room on wheels. On wheels,
right. So it's mobile. So it's like, like the Channel 2 news van, it's everything except for the satellite mobile transmitter, but it can have radio transmitters. You can radio broadcast any signal you want, line of sight from here to the top of Haleakala or whatever with the radio technology now. So we can send a video signal anywhere you want, basically line of sight, or with a repeater you can put that and then change your line of sight. So doesn't necessarily
just
have to
bounce it around.
Exactly. There's all kinds of things you could do with the van depending on the budget and how much.
So how much is it to use the van per day?
A basic rental of the van is about $300 a day.
Okay, so if I was able to come up with $300, we could do this show from the van.
Anywhere you want. That's the crazy thing, right?
I think I need sponsors. Okay.
and it's crazy because KAKU has the backpack.
The live view unit.
Right. So you can do that. And this is very similar. I know that cost a pretty penny for that, but this has so much more. This has a whole van and an editing suite where you could sit there and view, edit it, cut it, send it out. So it's amazing. It's a backpack on steroids, or
it basically is. It's a movie studio on wheels.
Right.
How many times have you been able to use this thing? Because I would imagine, especially now with the way films are starting to come through the 50th state, there's going to be some need for this thing.
Right. We're just looking for our first client for the van. We've just basically got it online. It's taken a lot of work, basically converting a Chevy conversion work van, that they sell you off the lot, into something that actually does video production. So there was a lot of wiring, a lot of insulating, a lot of sound deadening, things like that. And then, like I say, it's completely beautified now. So it's it's not the Shaggy carpeting inside the van, but it's close. It's the nice the padded walls. Like a lot of places in the studio you'll have the sound deadening and stuff. So it's insulated and sound deadened. So you can park it out under the hot Maui sun, and you won't cook. And then it's got the air conditioner in it. You'll stay cool. You can work 12 hours, like I say. No problem.
Wow.
It's weird, yeah.
And right now you're just looking for... So it's not being used. So if I got together the money, I could have a personal studio on wheels.
Absolutely.
See,
Absolutely.
I love this. Well, okay, the van and everything. This thing sounds like Star Trek. It really does. Like there's a whole movie studio in there. What made you put this together, though? What was you and the team all looking around and going, you know what? Well, you know what this island needs? A damn movie studio on 4 wheels. That's what we need.
Well, that's where a lot of this stuff goes, to locations. A lot of things would go to the beach and film and then go somewhere else. They wouldn't necessarily use our studio, the new Aloha studio, as you may have seen in the magazine. It has changed from Maui Film Studios to Aloha Studios. So and that's basically where I parted ways with the studio. I'd been working there for 2 years, and so there was, I saw a need for, this stuff could go anywhere. It was, now a Mac Pro cylinder is the size of a small trash can, and it's 12 core and a terabyte flash internal,
32 gig RAM.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and it's so fast that the way Final Cut Pro 10 works now is it's rendering and transcoding basically as you're working. So things are happening. All those horror stories about working on a shoot and then render for 2 days, and you wake up, nope, go back to sleep. All that's, you got to pay that guy for those 2 days. It's just, that stuff doesn't just happen.
No.
That guy's got to be there watching that stuff, making sure it's still downloading and transcoding and doing its stuff. And that's kind of crazy. The way I look at it now, coming into this, like I said, I missed all that bad stuff. Now it's back to where it was. It's like pretty seamless and quick, and you're not waiting days for things to happen to be able to share it and watch it, and it's like, oh wow, that's bad. Yeah. So now it's pretty much instant, as it can be.
Have you guys done any test with this thing yet?
Yeah, we're testing it, and we're always having fun with our stuff. We've got drones, and there's all kinds of things that are new that we're mixing and meshing together. That's the whole thing about mesh. So you're meshing all this new technology, all this production side with the editing side. So that's what a good name for mesh. It's these two sides that have always kind of been separate.
Yeah.
Are now I'm pushing them together. They're together now.
Kind of like
on
radio
set,
and
on
television.
location.
It's just
right.
Put together. It's like a s'more sandwich of media.
Right. And that's why I think it's it's going to be interesting. There'll be some things coming up, and that's why I'm reading more stuff like Order Order of Etheria, Code of the Brethren. It's a project that's coming to the island. We will be talking more about it probably, but on
Etheria, correct me if I'm wrong, Etheria is where He-Man lived.
That could be. I'm not sure.
Prince Adam,
all that, yeah.
Okay.
But this is a project that Danica Fontaine has put together and wrote specifically for Maui, and it's got Billy Badolato, who did Top Gun. She's got all these power people with her, right, to make this into basically a sci-fi movie series. So that's what we're going to be talking with her and her producer about at the industry night. And there's Tracy Bennett puts on an industry night at the Maui Tropical Plantation. And so this July 30th, we're going to sit down and speak with these people and see how they want to spend their $105 million or whatever they're.
Wow.
Right, huge budget. So we want to see how we can help them make their movie on Maui. What do they need? How can we help them? How can we support them?
But see, this is exciting for somebody like you that's always done this and been around this. Is now you've came here because I read from your bio you loved Maui and you just wanted to live here.
Absolutely.
Now your passion, it seems, is starting to follow you. Is this an exciting time for filmmakers on Maui?
It can be, yes. Hopefully, we'll get a strong following. Our tax incentive, which is actually it's a refundable tax. It's a check you get back. Unlike some of these other places where people are filming now, like Louisiana and
Georgia,
New Mexico, all these southern states are implementing tax credits. But you have to take that piece of paper and you have to trade it to like a broker who gets 20, 30 cents on the dollar, right, to get your money back for you, your tax credit money for you. Here, you get a check. You get 25% back from Maui County, from the state or whatever, for your production.
So if I had a movie that was $100 budget,
you get $25 back before you even left the room.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing, and that's why we're trying to get that word out there. Tracy Bennett's working hard. He's going to all these industry events in LA and around the globe. He's always traveling, and that's what he's doing. Is trying to bring guys like me work, basically, and that's why we really have to be on top of our game, have the best equipment, the best stuff available.
But honestly, is it a pipe dream to say that media or movies in Hollywood will come to Maui one day in any sort of meaningful way for people to work in it?
I think there will. There's going to be a push. As more and more will leave LA. It's just that's inevitable. This is the Wild West, is the way I look at it. This is 1892. We're getting rid of steam. We're moving forward. This little Hodunk town, is getting pavement. Because we're getting on the railroad, and that's what's going to happen. We're hooking up. So it takes time. It takes a lot of effort. Some money and some schmoozing and things like that. But you find the right people. You get projects to come here. That's what the studio is looking for. They're looking for a TV series, and that's what we were working on for a year or more. Was a thing called Infinity, and we were ready to go with it until the problems with his investor there at the studio and backed out, and then it was up to me to try and cover all these extra costs of the studio, and we brought on Chantel Lonergan, who ended up being my partner who runs Mesh. So it was kind of weird how it happened and where it's gone. So
are you a little bitter? I mean, it sounds like you're just like, it's all right.
Well, it was a good time. We had a place where we could have had this very interesting television series in production going on the air, but things happened. People in the industry got promoted where we thought that would be great for us. Where it turned out, the corporate management who owns all these outlets, there's only a few of them that own everything. It really is a small world when it comes to media. And so it was basically that they were turning internal. They weren't going to accept our scripts that we thought we had an inside deal with, at a network. So things change constantly in the industry. It's a circus, and you just got to be ready and just, ready to jump into the next thing or, move ahead. But
in your opinion, this is Maui.
Right.
What kind of a television show could you do from Maui?
Well, you know what a hit Lost was.
Yeah.
So, it wouldn't be a Lost series, but, it would be an action-adventure series, with every kind of imaginable scene from around Maui. You could play that for days. Just the beauty of Hawaii, and then with a good script, which this was, and, being an action-adventure and somewhat of a mystery of what was going on in this script. I thought it was great. Everybody who read it thought it was great. The president of a network, vice president of a network, thought it was great enough to back it. And
well, this is me just being me, because I am a huge science fiction fan. Could
Right.
you actually make a science fiction film show from Maui?
Sure. And I was approached about doing one, and it was basically what kind of locations would you have? And I was basically showing them the crater, Haleakala and places like that. And do you know where your spaceship crashed or whatever? And yeah, they were like, this place looks crazy up there. It's red and it's rocky and it's weird and looks otherworldly. And
it's crazy to the point that even NASA uses parts of Hawaii
Yep.
for its Mars research.
it does look, very otherworldly, like another planet in certain places. And it's very, be very easy to do that, to play that into some other world.
Well, I know you're really happy on the editing thing,
Yep.
but I gotta ask, because me being an editor, once I get in here and I get all of this equipment, all of a sudden ideas start turning, and I'm thinking I could make my own movie.
Right.
Have you thought of like just borrowing company resources and making your own project?
I always think about that doing the kumite, or the blood sport or something like that, going back to the karate stuff. And that was kicked around by several people. I've heard it come up, in the circles of people. And, if somebody doesn't do it soon, I will.
Well, I mean,
throwing the gauntlet down.
there is a lot of professional fighters here, MMA fighters.
Yes.
So I'm thinking finding actors for this, not going to be an issue.
No, there's several people who've come to me and said, what kind of films you got? And I, mentioned that, and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, let's do another, a Maui blood sport thing or something.
Wow. So, I mean, for you, though, that would be like your ultimate aspiration, right? To be able to do a film like Bloodsport.
It'd be cool just to do it, like I say, just like when I was a kid, and just to get that and to make it, it's about making it, I don't care whether it's a success or whatever, it's just having fun making it. And that was something I basically learned, a line from Adam Sandler. I don't care what you think or say about me or whatever, I'm just going to have fun doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
Now, are you still acting even though that you're all this editing stuff?
Sure, and as you can see, I know you're holding a picture of me playing the president.
Yeah. When did you play the president?
That was a couple years ago. That was with David Whitney and Socrates, and they had this crazy idea they had gotten of doing a political series here, a madcap punking the president series here, and we were filming it. We shot several episodes, and we were writing more, and that's when things kind of switched, and we were saying, what do we want to do? Do we want to do political comedy as our first thing out of the bag from Maui Film Studios, or do we want it to be something more like Lost, or a big hit, a big series that would take off? And so we weighed our options, and we had to tank, unfortunately, Mad Libs.
Yeah, but this is you mocking the president. Do you think in any way, shape, or form that this could be the only reason that this thing failed? As the president got a word of it and goes, oh, God,
kill that,
no.
yes, kill that. Talking to his sleep. Kill that episode.
Omega 3, move in.
Red team go. Yeah, I know. It was, everybody who saw it liked it. It was funny. It was just lighthearted, and it was, I played basically a stupid, lovable, conservative president who got voted in after Obama, and, it was all about, him coming in, and these two guys, Chino LaForge, was one of them who would punk me every week, And so Mark Harmon was the other one. They would team up on me and change my speeches and stuff. And
that's how the president. I don't know how to tell you this, but if we really saw something like that, people would stop voting, because that's really how DC works.
That's pretty much right. There's political guys who are appointed, and then there are other guys who have a job. They're lifers. They're there all through every administration and through everything. So there's these weird dynamics that happen. Like where all the W's got removed from the keyboards. Well, we'll see if all the O's are gone later. So there's things that happen that are hilarious that you can play up. Everything from the stupid speeches that presidents do, dumb quotes to, I could write this in my sleep. And people would be just falling out of their chairs. There's some. It writes itself. It's kind of like the Warren Commission, stuff. You read some of these things. Did people actually say that?
I like how you take the Warren Commission, which is, dare I say, an analytical synopsis time shot of one of the biggest assassinations in American history, and you're like, yeah, somebody can just write that crap. I can write whatever too.
It's pretty close, yes.
So I think from that one little statement, we've grazed some sort of political sensibilities from you.
That's right. It's completely gone.
Have you ever wanted to make a conspiracy film, though?
Absolutely, yes. I've tried to. Several of my friends are writers in that genre, and I've asked them several times. What do you need? Can we do something, or how can we do that? Can we spoof it? Could we? A lot of them are they're too serious, I think, about it. The guy's dead, okay, and no matter what you find in a file drawer somewhere, it's not going to bring him back. So that part of me is kind of okay, whatever. And I like comedy, and so if I did something, it might be a little funny, but in a Woody Allen kind of just stabbing you in the back as I'm patting you on the front, something weird, like that would.
So if you had your druthers, at the end of the day, even something as big and vast as conspiracy would have a little comedy in it, just because that's your touch, right?
Oh, right. And I've read, written, a couple of articles on this stuff. One about like the jacket that was found. Supposedly that was Lee Harvey Oswald's jacket. And everybody who was asked, under oath what color the jacket was gave a different color. So it was like 12 people giving 12 different colors. It was brown, it was blue, it was light blue, it was dark blue, it was it was a rainbow color, and so I called it the Technicolor jacket, basically. And people loved me for that, because I just totally made fun of the whole thing that this guy killed a cop. And that's how they actually got Lee Harvey Oswald, was, for killing a cop, not killing the president.
Yeah, I know. It was a theater.
Right.
The Ford Theater, in fact.
Well,
no, the Lincoln
Theater. It's
Theater.
Texas Theater.
Yeah.
It's the Texas Theater.
Okay. But no, it was a Texas School Depository, but when I went to the movie theater, it was a different name. Okay. Anyways, I don't know what I was going through with that. There's points of the show, as much of a professional as I try to make myself seem.
Absolutely.
I just lose it.
Right.
This is one of those moments. It's gone.
There's all kinds of things we could talk
We
about.
had magic in that moment, and now
we don't know where it went.
But if I did want to film this magic somewhere else, how could I get in touch with you guys at the Mesh Van? You can hit up meshvan.com. We've got a new website up, and it'll show you all the kind of cool stuff that's going on there. You can always hit up My Film Industries online to get a hold of me personally. That's always easy. Or you can call me, 280-0546 if you're local. If you're local, hey,
Yep.
yeah.
If not, add 808 in front, and you're good to go.
Okay. Now, right before we go, because I got like 2 minutes left
Okay.
here. On your resume, it says that you did commercial acting.
Sure. Yes. I've done like a Labatt's beer commercial, some other national stuff.
I would like to see one of your best commercial characters. Like somebody that you were actually in the commercial. Okay? And I mean, you could name a product or something. I don't care. I just want to see. Because I have always wanted to do commercials, and then I realized how stupid I look doing commercials. Right. So I want to see somebody that is you, trained professional, do them.
All right.
Go for it.
That was for the soap for.
I don't know. Our radio listeners are
soap,
like,
yeah. They're like, what was that? Yeah.
What was that?
Well,
but
it was me using soap.
The big face, and you have to do a lot of big faces when you're doing those silly commercials.
Yeah, it's basically all your eyes and over your face. Can't be a lot of this. You can't be monkeying around. Doesn't show well on camera, so it's just.
Oh. Well, I do have to say, it's been fun monkeying around with you for an hour today.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you came through. And anytime you've got a new project or something like that, I'd love to hear about it.
Okay, we will do that.
All right. And in meshvan.com, if you're looking for the Mesh Van,
sure.
Look up Casey Ledoux.
You can look up me. Yep, My Film Industries.
And if somebody needs a good martial arts president, they can use you. Look, right here. Just imagine this guy kicking some ass.
Kung Fu Conservative, right there.
Kung Fu Conservative.
Wow.
There's our show.
That's it.
Bada bing. Well, that is our show for the day. Make sure you join us tomorrow, where we are going to be talking opera. Actually, maybe singing a little bit of it. And, of course, check us out online at akaku.org. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to Channel 55 today, and of course on 88.5 FM. As for now, though, got to say goodbye to our guest, Casey.
Namaste.
And